The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. Mr. Valentine is no longer in the house. He is enlisted in the United States Marine. So we will be going on with our usual program today. Tim Bost will be our guest at the break here, and he has given us a gift today. He'll tell us about that. I posted it into the Tiger Den, and I'm sure we'll be able to find out how to get it from Tim, but it's an electronic book, and I'm sure it's got great information in it because he's certainly good at what he does. So Financial Cycles Weekly, Tim Bost will be our guest. Got a lot of things happening, folks. A couple things that we need to focus on. Look at the NASDAQ here. If we just watch this for just a moment, you'll see here what we're doing here is just retesting here the ABCD pattern that occurred back here on the 12th. We're up at the 50% level now at 11,965, I believe. And if we look at the E-mini S&P, it's doing exactly what we thought it was going to do yesterday. If we talked about that key level at 34.20, we didn't get that low. We got down to 34.30, and then we had a rally up last night all the way to the 61% retracement up here at 34.90. We backed a little bit, and we came back and just tested it again. This is a really key test here at 34.90. If the market gets above 35.06 today, folks, that would be a very bullish sign. Whether it does that, I don't know, but it's had a real nice move to the downside. You can see the ABCD patterns that were down there at that 34, 36 level. We talked about that quite a bit yesterday, to give you an idea of what was going on. Now, another one that's interesting here, we were talking about copper, and copper is doing exactly the same thing it's been doing for the last several days. We'll get this up here for Mr. Bo. He's been milking this like an Indiana cow. Look at the red levels up here at 308 and 1.618, folks. There's four of them up there, and we made possibly a double top, as you can see up there at that 309.5. So this thing is really in a lot of congestion up here at this 308 to 309. Anything above 310, 311, we'll be seeing that it's moving pretty good. We'll be able to see that that's going on. I'll bet you already did. That's good for you, Bo. You've got that thing in your crosshairs. You should use it as best you can. Now, I did want to mention here one other thing that's important because we've got a lot of things happening, and this is a key date, of course. October the 16th was the Friday before the crash in 1987. Several people have asked me, are we going to see anything like that again? Folks, this market doesn't look anything like the market of 1987. The 1987 market was down over 104 points in the Dow that day. That's when the Dow was trading at 2,600, not 27,000. So it had to be down more than 1,000 points today to even look like that. So that's the difference. No, there's nothing that looks like that. It might come, and they will have another crash. There's no question about that. But when it comes, if you live your life based on that, you better do something else for a living. That's the main thing. We do have a market that has a slightly bearish bias here, and I'll show you just by watching the forecast of what we're watching here today. Really key level up here at this 34.90. You have to risk. Unfortunately, you've got to risk 35.05. You've got to risk 15 handles in that because it's jumping around that much. I mean, if you can go down 50 handles and go up 50 handles, you've got to risk at least a third of that because it's so volatile. That's why they make the margin so high. So keep that in mind. It's very, very important because it's how they forecast what these margins are supposed to be based on what the volatility is. And when you're seeing great volatility, you're going to see, more margin, and that's what we're looking at here. Okay, now we want to talk about one other market that I think is really important here, and that is the Apple. This is, folks, when I talk about these things in here, sometimes I mention them and I don't really put the importance of them in, but one of them is the gap. If you'll notice here on October the 12th, where we first closed right at the 382 retracement on that last Friday, and then we gapped up. You can see the big gap up that we had here on Monday, and the market went all the way up to 127, and then it had to move down. Look where it stopped, folks. The high of the Friday is exactly the same as the low that we had yesterday. I mean, to the penny. I mean, that's you got to pay attention to that, because those gaps, they have a tendency to be filled, and you really need to do it. They don't always do it this way, but that's pretty much what you're watching. Now, what we're seeing here now is the fact that Apple, because it's bounced off this, that tells us that there's very, very strong support. And now we've already came back and we've gone higher than the 382 from the highest move. We're already just a tad above that at the 121 and change level. So these are things that when you set these up for the next day and you add to it the opening price, it gives you some really good, really good ideas of, what you're watching. So that's why I think it's relatively important. This is amazing. It's really amazing. And when they're talking about here in the den about Amazon and some of these other stocks that are jumping like crazy, folks, these big stocks, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, all these things, they've got a big following, both on the long side and the short side. So you're going to see a lot of volatility in that. This is nothing like we saw in 2008. This is a totally different type of market. In 2008, we were looking at a real estate bubble. This has nothing to do with that. This market has done many things more than everybody thought it would, and it will turn over. But when it does, there'll be plenty of opportunities, to get in it. I mean, you don't have to, try to pick a top or pick a bottom. Wait for the pattern to line up, and that'll give you a better shot of what you want to be looking for. That's really all you're looking for. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, that's all you can do with these patterns, is to see what we're looking at. By the way, we have an announcement on November the 13th. You don't want to miss this, because November the 13th, we are going to have Mr. Norm Winsky as our guest. Once again, Norm will be on, and he will be telling us who will be elected the president of the United States. So he'll be coming on November the 13th. Hopefully 10 days after the election, we'll know who's elected. But going the way it's going now, anybody's guess. We'll have to just come along and see see what's going on. Okay, let's move on here to a couple other things that I wanted to see what we've got moving in here. Someone's asked me about these super E-mini trader contracts that we had. I know they have them. I haven't looked at them. They're mini micro contracts. They're certainly good to be trading if you want to learn how to trade it. There's enough volume in there. The prices are good. I checked that out. So if you want to trade those micros to learn, that's a great way to do it, because it's very active and everything. The key level today is that 3505 in the S&P, and that's a really important one to watch, but remember, we're in a Friday. It's going to be an up week. So, the odds favor, a high, because it's a Friday, just because it's a Friday, and in an up week, the odds favor, potential higher close. But, we don't know that yet. It's still too early in the morning. The key level, of course, is that 3505. That's what you have to really hang your handle on, because 3490 was the sale and 3505. We'll take a break. 877-927-6648.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, so we're back, folks. We've been asked to take a look at natural gas. And as you can see here, we've had this is just the hourly chart here on the natural gas. You can see it's been in a nice, strong uptrend. We've continued it. We just had a nice pullback to the 61% retracement and it rallied pretty good. This is a really good trading vehicle, folks, because it moves in huge quantities of $1,000, $1,500. The margin is very, very small. The execution is perfect because it's a very, very liquid market. So pay attention to that one, but it is still in an uptrend. And right now we're up against some pretty strong resistance up here at this 61% level, but it's still a little bit early here. As we look at this. Now, we will have Tim Bost on at the break here, but I wanted to mention the fact that I have to bring this to your attention here because it's very important to me because of what happened back in 2019 in 9/11. After 9/11, the airline flights to Hawaii were $100 round trip because they couldn't get anybody to fly. And my grandson was 18 months old, and he was living there. His father was in charge of the drones that did the geophysical positioning of all the material on the ground and stuff. And so he worked for the government, one of the subcontractors. And so they were over there. So I would go over every 2 or 3 weeks and spend 3 or 4 days, sometimes a week, visiting him and stuff. And one of the things that Kevin liked to do, and so did I, we loved to watch war movies. And so Chase would be sitting there with us, and he was about 1.5 years old. And our favorite movies, of course, were the usual ones: The Great Escape, Kelly's Heroes, and The Train with Burt Lancaster was always a really good one. That's in black and white. But our all-time favorite was Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood and Where Eagles Dare. And Kelly's Heroes, of course, was another Clint Eastwood that we like. But Where Eagles Dare was a good one because of I made a little recording. So whenever he got up in the morning, whenever Chase would get up in the morning, he would go over to the recorded messages, and he would climb up on his little stool, and he would press the button, and he would hear my voice because I would have called in and left a message for him, and I'd say broadsword to Danny Boy. I'd say broadsword to Baby Chase, broadsword to Baby Chase, come in, Baby Chase. The eagle has landed. The chicken is the pot. Come in, Baby Chase. And he would press that little button and listen to it, and then he would start laughing, and he always remembered that. And so it was really quite fun. He's 21 years old now, so he doesn't listen to the recordings anymore. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, let's move on here and talk about something that may or may not happen, boys and girls. Here's one of those trades that we'll bring it up so you can take a look at it. And remember, this is nothing more than a pattern. That's all it is. And we're in the midst of a really big conglomeration of weather and demand and stuff for Chinese and stuff. But you can see here, this is the last 10 days of the November soybean. You can see the 3 drive to a top pattern that it made. It dropped from 1080 all the way down to 1032 in one day. That was a 50-cent drop. Then it rallied up exactly to the 61% retracement. We sold that. We covered it at the just above the 78% level. And what did it do? It went right back and made the ABCD at the 1068 level last night and traded at 1067.60. You don't have to risk very much on this. If you're wrong, you risk about a nickel, but you got a crop that's worth about $50,000. You can be a farmer for $50 or for $250 or say $500 just to be safe. But that's how you look at these patterns, folks. There's nothing mysterious about them. There's no oscillators involved, and that's all you really have to do. In the way we look at things, and that's all it is. It's just a way of quantifying the risk. We know that the patterns work more than they fail, but that's the way it is. Now, Rich Anderson was kind enough to send us something that's in the news quite a bit. And this comes from one of his services that he uses. But this is a picture of the FANG stocks and how they related to the S&P 500. Can you believe this, folks? Look what those FANG stocks have done. You talk about big tech, why they control everything. I mean, they control the news, they control the data, they control everything. And this is a big deal. And so you got to pay close attention to that. Remember, Tesla is not an automobile company; it's a data company and a space company. So this is you got to remember that. Now we're very, very close to breaking out to the upside in the S&P. Whether it'll happen after the election or before, or maybe it won't happen at all. All we're saying is that this market is really, really volatile, and we have to pay very close attention, especially over these next few weeks, because the people all across the world, even, I have so many friends in the UK, Tom Hugard and John Jameson and a whole bunch of others that Mo but everybody's asking about, who's going to win. Hell, I don't know. We'll see whether it's going to move or not. Bo just went back into copper. Long or short, Bo, which did you do? You got to know what you're doing, otherwise you ain't going to make any money here. So I hope that you use a stop, and I know that you do, but make sure that you do that if you're going to keep an eye on that. Okay, so he went long the copper. There you go. My guess is probably around 306. So you're risking about a penny and a half or so. That'd be my guess. So we'll see how that moves on to the next one in here, and we've been watching. By the way, when I was mentioning about Norm coming on Norm Winsky coming on November 13th, I was joking about the fact that he would tell us who the president was. But then when you stop and think that there might not even be enough votes to count, or too many votes to count at that time, we might not know who the president is, much like what happened with Gore and Bush many years ago, back in the 90s. So that was, a month or so later before we actually knew who the president of the United States was. That could happen again. People forget that, but that's neither here nor there. So we'll watch it to see what's going on. Okay, the next one we want to take a quick look at here, and I hope I haven't lost it because I had it right on my scale here, and shut the front door and raise the rent. I missed it again. I'm going to have to find a different way of looking at it. I think the most important thing today, folks, is this Apple chart. This is really important here, and let me explain to you my 2 cents worth. If we get back below that gap that we made on The started on Friday, and we hit it again yesterday. And that low comes in at 117.50. Below 1750 is very, very bearish on Apple, at least on the short term. It means it's going to make an ABCD that's going to take it to about 110. Now that's a 5%, it's a 10% drop in Apple, so that could happen. So that's it. Yes, well, the fact that they get more votes, and that's why they have the Electoral College. Hey, folks, you might not, right here on my desk here, I keep the Constitution and all this other stuff that's really important, okay? These dudes, these 55 dudes that wrote this stuff, they are pretty smart. Look at this. This country's lasted 236 years based on those rules, and I don't think we should get rid of any of them. That's just my guess. The Second Amendment, of course, I'm in Arizona. The Second Amendment is like all the other amendments combined because everybody here carries 2 or 3 guns. And that's the way it is here in Arizona. Okay, let's move on and not talk about politics. By the way, we got a break coming up, and then you won't have to listen to these jaws clap anymore. Mr. Tim Boast will be on 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento watches the markets 24/7, and now is a great time to try out his daily trading service, Fibonacci 24/7. Larry publishes videos and charts for subscribers throughout the week when warranted, and every weekend he puts out a thorough report covering worldwide markets, futures, commodities, and currencies with Fibonacci retracement levels, possible trading setups and zones, and stops and targets for all recommendations included. Larry applies the principles he's developed over decades of trading while analyzing a variety of markets for subscribers. To see for yourself the types of videos, charts, and analysis that Larry provides for his subscribers, sign up for Fibonacci 24/7 today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. You'll also gain instant access to Larry's archived subscriber webinar from earlier this year. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today. If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I believe we're talking with Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly down in Florida.
You are indeed, Larry. How are you this
Oh,
morning?
wow. I win my first bet of the day. This is good.
Well, that's a good
Hey,
start to the day, right?
it sure is. And you're going to, I'll let you tell the folks what you're going to be giving away today. But I have 5 questions here. They're all the same. You probably know what it is. Any
Okay.
idea who's going to win in November?
No idea whatsoever. No,
Thank you
actually,
very
we've been.
much. That's all I needed to know. Let's move on to the next thing that you would like to talk about.
No, done lots of analysis from lots of different angles, and there's still some question marks attached to it all. If we believe the pollsters and things, we'll be seeing a shift in administrations, but that remains to be seen. It's truly a messy situation, not only in terms of the actual logistics involved, but also from the astrological perspective. So we'll refrain from expressing a firm opinion there for now. How's that?
Okay, there's still a possibility it could be like the Bush-Gore thing where they didn't know till, a month later or so. Is that correct? I mean, it's that kind of
That's
situation.
certainly within the realm of possibility. And one of the things that we're looking at here is the question of uncertainty and how that factors into the trading environment. And the markets don't like sketchy situations where we don't really know what's going on. And so if this does go to a disputed count and perhaps into the courts, then this could be very destabilizing for the markets. But one way or another, I think in the next couple of months, we're going to know what the outcome is, and we will get readjusted on that basis. So we have to think in terms of the longer term uncertainty resolving itself, not only in terms of the elections, but also in terms of the coronavirus situation and some of the other things that are going on right now that are creating a lot of instability. For example, with the coronavirus, we've got the question right now: are we going to see another relief package and more federal funding for that situation, and how does that contrast with the ramp up, the second or third wave of the spread of the disease and the challenges to the economy if there is a shutdown associated with that? And so all of that's going to get resolved here again within the next few months, and we'll see how all that shakes out. But shorter term, we've got a fairly chaotic situation, and we kind of have to learn to live with that.
Well, that's actually pretty good for people that like to day trade because, boy, you see volatility like we've never seen before. Tim, you're offering a book here for the folks. It's
Right.
a $199 retail book, or you could get it free. So they have the choice of either paying $199 or getting it free. Okay.
No, yeah, this is a brand new publication. Actually, we just got this out yesterday, so it is really literally hot off the press. And we're looking at some of the opportunities that are here right now. We're discussing 5 money-making strategies for stock trading in this particular environment that we're seeing now with the run-up to the election, the impact of the coronavirus, and so forth. And one of the things that we note in the book is the fact that big instability and big chaos in the markets represents big opportunities for us as traders, especially from that shorter term perspective. So this is what we're looking at things with this book. So you can get a copy. Go to bit.ly/LP for Larry Pesavento 2010-16. That's today's date. We try to make that easy to remember. That needs to be a capital L, capital P. Everything else is lowercase there. But that will get you connected, and we'll get that ebook off to you via email very, very promptly, and you can work ahead with that. But one of the things as we look at the current situation, Larry, is and in trying to make sense of this short-term chaotic situation, is we like to pay attention to the planetary cycles. And that, of course, is what we put most of our work on here at financialcyclesweekly.com, looking at the planetary dynamics from the astro trading perspective. And what's going on right now is the Mercury retrograde period. We had Mercury go into retrograde motion on Tuesday of this week, and we immediately started to see a bit of a pullback in the markets. I suspect we'll see an up day today, a little bit of bargain hunting coming into the picture here. But Mercury Mercury will remain in retrograde motion through the 3rd of November, which just happens to be Election Day. And
Oh
that
my
direct
gosh.
station is
You
kind
got
of
Mercury
a chance
retrograde right into Election Day?
Absolutely. In fact, it
Wow.
makes its direct station shortly after noon Eastern time on Election Day, right in the middle of the voting. So we can't get a better
Oh,
hit than
wow.
that. Okay. And
Well,
then, of course,
I don't know much about astrology, but I know that Mercury retrograde is really important. So that's going to be interesting. So
it is a very, very interesting configuration that we're getting with this, and that's what we're putting a lot of our focus on that time of that direct Mercury station that comes up here on Election Day. So when we see this coincidence of the astronomical events with the geopolitical events and the market events, then we got something to pay attention to. So that's what we're looking at here. We've got a chart here with the S&P, and this is kind of a messy chart, but what we've done is graphed in the planetary.
Heck, some of the ones I've seen, this is actually pretty clean.
Okay, good.
Let's take a look at this for everybody, folks.
Well,
This is Jeannie Long's program, isn't it?
Right, the late Jeannie Long developed the Fibonacci Trader Galactic Trader software. It's something that we use on a daily basis here at Financial Cycles Weekly. We like to be able to project these planetary price lines on our charts. And so you've got the more or less diagonal lines with the little loops in them. Those represent the positions of Mercury in the sky. And across the middle, kind of a wavy horizontal line, we have a Saturn line that we put in here as well for this particular study. And so when we're looking at the Mercury retrograde, as we've indicated with some of these arrows, when Mercury is in direct motion, the line is moving upward from left to right there. And then we get the 13th of this month. That should be 10/13 rather than 1/13. But that date that we saw the retrograde station kick in, and so the line heads back downward, and then with the direct station it resumes the motion upward again. So this is a graphic representation of what a Mercury retrograde looks like in terms of the planetary alignments, and we can then measure that dynamic against the market action. So we can track this over on the left side of the chart. Back early in the year, we had that Mercury retrograde station, and the price coincided with that with the S&P very, very precisely. That was a first harmonic alignment there. We don't always see that kind of correlation, but it certainly gives us an indication of some of the strength of these planetary movements. So again, what we're looking at right now, based on the little bit of a pullback that we've seen so far, is paying attention to this next big event, which is coming up on November 3rd with the direct station.
Boy, this thing really follows those purple lines pretty good, doesn't it?
Right. Those purple lines are the Mercury lines, and when the market runs with Mercury, we get a nice move upward most of the time. It's most of the time moving fast in a direct motion, but then things consolidate.
Hey, stay with us, Tim. We got some more questions for you.
Very good.
Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly, 877-927-66.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The Gold Report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The Bull Bear Trading Hour with Tom and Tommy O'Brien. Next.
Okay, folks, we're back talking with Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly. And Tim, we've got a real treat for you, buddy. We've got somebody on the line who's one of the best traders that this old cowboy knows. That's Mr. Z. John from Philly is on the line. John, say hello to Tim.
Hello, Tim, and good morning to you as well, Larry.
Good morning, John.
What's your question?
Tim, I wanted to tell you I have intently listened to the conversations you've had with Larry over these past couple of months, and I thank you for taking the time out of your schedule for doing that. Tim, a very specific question. I'm afraid I could be mistaken. However, I have this recollection of listening to you speak with Larry sometime in June, July, maybe early August, somewhere during the summer. And Tim, for reference sake, that was before the S&P 500 had made it over the February high. Right. And, there was uncertainty as to whether that would occur or not. With that as context, I recall you speaking with Larry and discussing in some detail October 22nd, give or take a couple of days, as a pivotal time frame. And I'm wondering if you can elaborate upon that, if in fact I'm recalling correctly, and I apologize if my memory is just plain wrong.
Yes, with October 22nd, let me grab my notes here. That will help me speak intelligently. But with that October 22nd period, let's see here. Right, we're looking there at the sun's movement into Scorpio on the 22nd, but really kicking into that. We've got the Mars-Uranus opposition coming in. That's a day or two prior to that, and that's what we're looking at as a critical factor to kind of juice the markets a bit. Now, it's interesting here. In fact, let me see if I can back up with my slides here, because we have these dates with the Mercury retrograde on it, and it's the I believe the 19th. Oh, that's November 19th right there. So we've got October 22nd can be an inflection point that we were identifying through some of those astrological factors. However, we're more concerned with the November 3rd focus at this point as really concluding a significant move in the markets. It's interesting here because on November 3rd, we've got this Mercury direct station, of course. And as you can see from this chart, what we're looking at is that Mercury line making its bounce as it goes back into direct motion, coming up on the 13th, or on the 3rd of November, excuse me. And it does so in an exact alignment with that horizontal Saturn line. So what's going on here is that on that date, on the 3rd of November, as we get that Mercury direct station, Mercury will simultaneously be making a 90-degree angle, a square, to the position of Saturn. Mercury will be at 25 degrees, 59 degrees of Libra, just shy of 26 degrees. Saturn at that time is at 26 degrees, 22 minutes of Capricorn. So it's a very tight alignment that is simultaneous with that retrograde station. This got me a little curious because that position then of Saturn is intriguing at 26 degrees, 22 minutes of Capricorn. So we know that's coming up on November 3rd, but I did a little bit of research there and found that back on February 12th, this year, Saturn was at exactly that position, and then on August 23rd, it returned to that position. Saturn was in direct motion on February 12th and retrograde motion on August 23rd. Then on November 3rd, Saturn will be direct again and making that alignment with Mercury at the time of the retrograde station. So this suggests that Saturn might be important in that regard. So what we did was go back and look on the 12th of February of this year, and we found that on that date, the S&P closed at 3379.45. And then August 23rd was a Sunday. The low for the previous trading day on Friday was at 3379.31. So Saturn seems to, at that particular degree position, like that price range in the S&P. And so we're using that then as a basis for our fearless or foolish forecast, as the case may be. We're looking for the S&P to at least trade through, not necessarily close at 3370. 38, right at that 3370 mark, simply because Saturn has been at that particular degree point in the zodiac, and the price with the S&P has coincided with that twice before during this current longer-term cycle. So that's the kind of work we do in trying to come up with these projections. And I'm sorry, I don't recall anything specific other than that movement of the sun into Scorpio and that Mars-Uranus alignment coming up on around the 22nd of October. But we may have been looking at it from a different context there.
Tim, that's incredibly thorough, and I thank you. And I'll sign off and just tell you how much we appreciate you having these conversations with Larry.
Thank you. Appreciate your endorsement there.
Well, Tim, I'll tell you what, buddy. I know a lot of people in this business, and when you get an endorsement from somebody like this dude, you take it for what it's worth, and it's worth a lot. Because John, known John for a very, very long time, and he is really good at what he does, and he walks his talk. You know, when he's wrong, he tells you why, and when he's right, he just as humble as can be. So he's a super fellow. Listen, I hate to bring this up, but I've got three different people have asked me, they want to know what your best guess is, and they don't care who you're voting for. They just want to know what your best guess is, who's going to win. I know it's hey, Tim, just between you and me, if you don't know, do like I do, just make it up.
Okay. Well, all great minds make it up at some point. Right? As one of my teachers and mentors once told me, he said, listen, if you don't have an answer, he gave me exactly that advice, just make it up, because whatever we know as a fact, somebody sometime made it up before you. So you might as well be the first, right? So let's talk about that a election situation, we've got several things going on here. One is the potential for high levels of chaos around Election Day because of the elements we've already discussed. The impact of the Mercury direct station, of course, the whole coronavirus impact, the economic implications of that as well. All of that gets added to the mix. So we can expect some controversy, dispute, anxiety around Election Day itself. Now, the challenge here, of course, is the correlation between the Electoral College vote and the popular vote. And so what we'll be watching on that date is for the swing in the Electoral College votes. And if it is a decisive margin one way or another, and in a case in which potentially disputed states won't really make a difference anyway, then we can avoid a lot of the controversy and the potential of going to the courts. So,
hey, stay with us, Jim. We got one we'd like to chat with just a tiny bit more.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly, and folks, I'm going to tell you this in confidence, but during the break, Tim told me, and not to repeat it, but he thought that the winner would be a 70-year-old male and a white male. So if that helps you in your selection process, that's good. So I hope that covers your backside, my friend.
As a white septuagenarian myself, that maybe I'll get the right end, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm an octogenarian, so I got to get moving faster. Okay, tell us how to get the book one more time and how to subscribe to your services, my friend, because you've got some great stuff.
Yeah, go ahead and go to bit.ly/LP 201016, and that will get you connected with the form to submit your email address so we can send you a copy directly. We'll also send you an invitation to a webinar we've got coming up next week, and that's a good way to get connected with us. Go to financialcyclesweekly.com and look at the general information there. We've got lots of opportunities available for you as well. And we have our Gold Plus Elite membership program, which is a done-with-you astro trading service in which we do a lot of the analysis and work with the markets and share that with you in a great deal of detail on a week-to-week basis through conference calls and online services as well. So if you're interested in getting more deeply involved with astro trading, we pride ourselves on being the global leader in astro trading education. And so this is the place to go.
Hey, listen, my friend, thank you very much. You're always interesting, and especially giving your prediction on the election. So I think you've got the handle on it. So,
well, there are lots of other factors we'll be looking at, and we'll get together again, after November 3rd and see how it all turned out after that.
Okay, stick with your prediction, the white male in the 70s.
There we go. That's a good one.
Okay, folks. We'll see you all on Monday, and our guest will be none other than the Wolfman himself, thewolftrader.com. Shane Smolian will be our guest, which will always be a lot of fun. So we don't want to miss that. So let's see what happens over the weekend, and may God bless and live every day in an attitude of gratitude.